What's up, you guys? Gavin here. I have a story for you guys today. Before I was the perfect bodybuilder, I used to struggle really bad with binge eating. I binge ate probably once every other week. It was a really big problem, but I have a story for you guys about one binge in particular. I worked a restaurant job at the time. The entire shift in my head, I was thinking, I cannot wait to get off this shift and binge. I had already made up my mind that I needed this. There was no other way. I was gonna go binge. So right after my shift, I drove over to the grocery store and I bought, I think, 2 packs of Snickers ice cream bars, a thing of 6 muffins, bakery muffins, as well as cookies, and a few other bakery items. I ate probably half of it and I threw the other half away because I physically could not fit the rest in my body and I didn't want to hold it around so other people could see. Obviously, it wasn't my proudest moment. I woke up the next day, I think 10 pounds heavier. Now, those 10 pounds were not fat, not even close. 10 pounds of fat is, I think, 35,000 calories. That is physically impossible. Oh, what was it? What it is water. And my coach had a protocol set in place that basically let me drop off nearly all that water weight. And in nearly a week, I was back on plan. I was at the same weight I was before, and I was ready to go. Where I want to go with this is so many of you binge and you let it affect your mental so badly to the point where you continue to binge or you continue to need these cheat meals. And what I want to say is that a good coach has a protocol in place, like my coach, thank you, Coach Gabe, has a good protocol in place that will let you get back on your meal plan as fast as possible. So it's something that I do for my clients, and I want to kind of run you guys through how to get back on meal plan after a cheat or a binge as fast as possible. If you need further help with this, understand that I am coaching guys right now. I offer one-on-one coaching. The link to my consultation call will be in my bio. So if you have any questions for me whatsoever, or you're curious about coaching, make sure to click on that link. We'll get you scheduled in. We'll get you a call with me personally, and we will see if we can work together. So without further ado, this is the video on how to stop binging. All right, you guys. So you just cheated on your meal plan. You're super bloated the next day. Your body hurts. It might hurt to sleep or lay. How are you going to fix the cheat meal bloat? This is something I run through with all my clients. But first, we have to ask the question of what causes post-cheat meal / binge bloating, besides the obvious amount of food volume that's in your stomach. The first thing is going to be the nutritional impact. So that's going to come down to your carbs. Carbs is the main source. It gets converted into glucose, which then gets converted in your muscle as muscle glycogen. That holds water. 1 gram of muscle glycogen holds, I think, 3 to 4 grams of water. So when we are slamming cheat meals, right, we have these common cheat meals here. This is cookies, soda, full of sugar, cookies full of sugar. This burger right here is tons of carbs, brownies, right? It doesn't really matter. Almost all of your common cheat foods are going to be full of carbs. So this is what causes that initial bloat, right? Because it's water being shuttled throughout your body. So yeah, it gets converted into glucose, and then that glucose in your muscle gets converted into muscle glycogen. Now that muscle glycogen is going to hold water. The next thing is going to be sodium. So just like these common cheat food, a lot of cheat meals happen with fast food, right? A lot of fast food over seasons their meat, not just with salt, but really any seasoning. And they're super high in sodium, and that sodium, just like carbs, latches onto water. So what happens is the water gets shuttled into your body, and then the sodium ions basically have a different attraction than the water, and the sodium ions stick. It's the same way a water softener works, which is why I put that there. And this happens all at once, right? One is not mutually exclusive from the other. This is the double whammy effect, I like to call it. So when you have high carb and high sodium meals, that gets basically doubled up, and you're just holding as much water as humanly possible. This is what causes most of that bloat. It's hard to avoid this with really any cheat meal, because basically any cheat meal is going to have both high carbs and high sodium. So you just have to understand that those are going to hold onto your water. The other thing is going to be poor gut health. So when you eat a giant burger, right, it is a huge meal. It's too large of a meal in one sitting. That is very, very hard for your gut to digest. The other things that make it hard is the fact that you're probably not chewing it, right? When you're in a cheat meal or a binge, you're just stuffing food down for the dopamine aspect of it. I know from personal experience, right? You're not taking your time eating those, you're downing them. And as well as processed foods, right? All these things are going to lead into worse gut health. And why does this matter? Because your gut, in order to digest this food, releases gut bacteria. And this gut bacteria releases gas to help the digestion. This gas gets stuck in your stomach. It's also what causes flatulence, right? So farting, and as well as more bloating, right? Because that gas is actually in your body. So it's bloating you there, and that's why you're farting so much. So how I fix. The first thing we're going to talk about is what not to do. First thing you're not going to do is punish yourself. You don't want to punish yourself, okay? I know you feel shame and you feel guilt, and it's going to feel really easy to do these things that feel like you're taking a step forward in the right direction. These things often look like starving yourself, skipping meals altogether, unholy amounts of cardio, right? If you're on the Stairmaster for hours upon hours the next day, that's punishing yourself. Do not do that. And purposeful dehydration. It's a very logical thing to think, oh, water is the reason I'm holding on to all this. I should just not drink water. We'll lead into why that's not good. But the main thing I want to hit is sustainability. Why did we cheat in the first place? It's because your meal plan was not sustainable, right? You hit a breaking point in your meal plan. And you know what else is not sustainable? These punishments. So when you're punishing yourself with cardio, starving yourself or whatever, you're basically creating a cycle that you can't repeat. So then it just leads to another cheat and another binge, and you get stuck in this cycle of cheating, punishing yourself, cheating, punishing yourself, cheating, punishing yourself. You need to cheat, and you need to take the consequences from cheating. So you will be bloated for the next week. You will be a little bit heavier for the next week. Let that be your punishment. Do not purposefully punish yourself and think you can get away with these crazy binges, okay? Now, what are you going to do? This is the protocol. The first thing you're going to do is lower carbs. You're going to lower carbs by 100 to 150 grams depending on your body weight and maintain calories. I want to be very, very clear. This is different than starving yourself. You're going to increase your protein and fats. A slight calorie reduction is okay, right? We don't want to be slamming protein and fats trying to stay in a surplus. If you drop a couple hundred calories, that is okay. But we want to avoid starvation. Starvation, as long as it starvation, as well as it not being sustainable, like I just talked about. It also increases your cortisol, and cortisol holds on to fat. And if you have too much cortisol, you will burn muscle tissue instead of fat. So we want to avoid cortisol and stress on our nervous system. So we want to maintain our calories the best we can, but we want to drop our carbs. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to lower our sodium, right? So carbs help shed water, sodium holds onto water. We want to lower these two things. So for the next few days, you're not going to salt your food. You're not going to season your food because many zero-calorie seasonings are very, very high in sodium. There are a few that are very low in sodium. Those are fine. But if it's high in sodium, do not put it on your food for 3 to 4 days, right? It's not that big of a deal. You will notice an immediate decrease in water retention. I had my guy do this. I think the next day he dropped like 3 or 4 pounds, okay? The third thing you're going to do is increase water intake. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to dehydrate myself. Well, actually, what you want to do is dilute your blood and decrease sodium. Because if you're not filtering water through it, that sodium that you ate in that meal is just going to stay in your body. So you can actually dilute it by drinking a bunch of water, ping a bunch, and then you're lowering your sodium on top of it. So then your sodium concentration just drops down, as well as your carbs. And final thing, you're going to eat according to hunger. Now, this is something I let my guys do, but this one's kind of controversial because you could be in the habit of starving yourself. If you're worried about starving yourself, getting in that, just eat according to meal plan. But it is very, very normal to feel full after a big cheat meal or binge because of the excess calories. So if you wake up the next day and you feel satiated, you feel full, push back your next meal. Just a little bit. If you start feeling hungry, you eat, okay? But if you're not hungry and you feel great and you just boosted your entire body with those carbs, you do not need to eat straight away. So it's very different than starving yourself. I want to be very, very clear there. But you do not need to eat 100% according to meal plan if you're super full when you wake up. Now, this is where we get into the important stuff. You're going to be nice to yourself. This is something not important for water retention or ending bloat, but ending the binge cycle. So why did you binge? Binging is never because of actual hunger. It's because of guilt or the need for dopamine, right? You felt guilty, you felt shame, you felt some sad, stressful, and you needed a release. And that's where the binge came in. When you did binge, or when you did start eating, you were very, very hard on yourself, and your body, it didn't like that. So it's like, oh, I need more dopamine. So then it shoves more food down your throat, and it's this never-ending cycle of eating, feeling guilty, eating more, feeling guiltier, eating more, feeling guiltier. That's what causes binges, okay? So the very first thing you're going to do is be nice to yourself and do not punish yourself. This goes hand in hand with eating when you're hungry. Be very, very nice to yourself, okay? Be very relaxed about your calories. Do not worry about your calories. If you're hungry, eat according to meal plan. If you're not, be nice. You don't need to eat. You're fine. I want you to understand that you messed up. The best thing that you can do is just move on. It does not define your identity. I want to ask you a question. C-Bun has openly admitted to cheating on his meal plan, and every bodybuilder at some point has cheated on their meal plan. All the greats. Is he defined by that one time? No, he's defined by his entire career. So do not let this be your entire career. Do not give up. Move on. You can go and accomplish great things and have that be like a tiny bump, just like in C-Bum's career. You can have that be a tiny point in your career. It does define your identity if you decide to quit, right? If C-Bum cheated on his meal and he quit bodybuilding, that is the end of his bodybuilding story. That's what defines it, is his cheat meal. He was the guy that started bodybuilding, cheated, never bodybuilt again. Do not let that be your story, okay? It can just be one tiny bump in your career. Next thing is going to be enthusiasm. So I've mentioned this quote several times. I live by this quote. It's success can be defined by not how many times someone's won, but how many times someone has lost and moved on with the same sense of enthusiasm. Because all the greats fail and fail and fail, but then they just keep going. So they start winning, okay? But the first thing you have to do is fail. Understand that this is part. So bounce back with that sense of enthusiasm, be ready to lose that water weight, and don't even think about the binge. It's in the past. Next thing I want to say is have fun in the gym. You have to understand, food is fuel. You just turbocharged your body, right? So your next few days, your pumps are going to be nasty. Your energy is going to be through the roof. Use that to your advantage. Have fun with that. Lower your cortisol, right? We need sleep. We need fat reduction, right? Lower cortisol will help with that. So just have fun in the gym. Enjoy your pumps. Don't think about the fact that you cheated, right? Just move on. The final thing we're going to do is we're going to sleep. Sleep is the most important thing for recovery, for fat loss, for everything. Lowering your cortisol will play a part in that. So being nice to yourself will directly relate to getting better sleep, and getting better sleep will directly relate to how to fix a cheat meal bloat. I just want to end this by saying a proper coach, right, is not just a coach that tells you what to do. He will take you through your dopamine deprivation, right, your stress issues, your stress eating, your food addiction. He can take you through that, and that's part of coaching. So if you don't have a coach that lets you do that or helps you through that, I want you to know that I'm here for you, not just with coaching. If you have any questions for me, I'm here to answer your questions. I've been in the exact same spot you have, right? And I think that's what makes me a great coach. So if you are interested in working together, my consultation call link is in my bio. But even if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you. So love you all. I hope you all achieve your goals and have the best fitness journey you can and accomplish anything you want to accomplish. I'll see you guys later. Woo!